Yesterday's rumor on the street.
Thank you, Andy.
Let me get rid of my glasses.
Do you remember when you turned 30?
Gosh. If I could do that all over.
I'm not sure I can.
If I could do that all over. Thank God there wasn't social media.
That would go down.
Yep.
All right, Coach, opening thoughts, and then we'll have the questions.
Well, just backing up a little bit, we were out east competing and got a couple dual meets in, 3 dual meets in, West Virginia, Ryder, and Bucknell. Saw some good stuff. And then this past weekend, we got a bunch of guys that got to compete. I think we had champs with Terrakina at 25 and the Frost Brothers at 33, 41, Panero at 49, and then heavyweight with Herrera, and I think you're going to get to talk to him today. So, a lot of good things. Obviously a big weekend coming up, backing up a little bit, just some housekeeping things just to, maybe pile on to everything that's going on this year. But first off, Christian Carroll has left Iowa State University. I'm not, because of that fact, I can't go into detail except to tell you that it was for some personal issues, and he's doing well. He's back at home, and no hard feelings, great kid, just got to get some things figured out. So the door's not shut, but again, because he's not involved in the university, he's not on our roster right now, he's not enrolled at Iowa State, I'm not allowed to comment. And then the second thing, which probably isn't much of a surprise to you, but we're going to officially come out soon that we are going to apply for pursue a medical red shirt for Younger Bastida. We just haven't had any luck, not with Younger at his knee, and the likelihood of getting him 100% the next month isn't what we think it is. We're trying to avoid surgery. Long story short, it's what we need to do, the best thing for Younger. So I think everybody kind of saw that. We saw that coming, but we wanted to exhaust it, and obviously, we got a guy that's doing a pretty good job there for us in Herrera. So, on top of that, as we go into a really exciting weekend. Anytime you get to wrestle programs like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State at home with the traditions and the history that they've got, it's an exciting thing. And I can't say enough about both of them, especially Oklahoma State right now. What Coach Taylor's done to bring in the excitement to that program, and obviously I'm a huge fan of John Smith and the tradition and the legacy that he built, and handing it off to David Taylor I think was perfect timing. I think they've done a really good job with their guys, and the guys that were there last year that are back. I think they've stepped it up, and I think the combination of the old coaching staff and the new coaching staff made some really good off-season acquisitions, and that's the name of the game right now, and really put themselves in a good position and a strong team. I wish we could say that we had the lineup that we thought we were going to have in November with them, but that's sports sometimes. So we're going to put out some guys that are going to give it hell, as you say, but we don't have the firepower that we thought we had in November. Kind of to compound some things is, Terrakina won this weekend, but we suffered a knee sprain in the last 2 minutes of that period. That's probably going to keep us out anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. We'll find out tomorrow. And he was doing a great job. I think he was 13-1 and lost to the Strittenberger kid from West Virginia, who's on fire right now, and who I think is one of the best kids. And we lost that match a couple weeks ago, literally at the buzzer. So I was really excited where Kyson was, but we're going to have to, lick our wounds and get healed up there. And then Cody Chittum's got an elbow injury. He's probably a maybe for this weekend. His isn't as severe as Kyson. So, the beat goes on, and it's just been one of those things, and we keep hoping that as we get into February, we're healthy. But with all that said, we've got some guys that are going to have a great opportunity. And I really think what Coach Kish has done at Oklahoma has been very, very good. And, we're going to have our hands full Friday night, so we don't need to look to Sunday right now. So that's a lot of information. So I'm sure you guys are dying to light me up.
Well, you took care of my weekly Younger question.
Right.
So thanks for that. And also, it seems like, how has that journey been? Because it seems like you kind of intimated early on with the injury that was a possibility, but then maybe he was really wanting to go and just isn't able to.
No, he was early on. The crazy thing about that injury is you try to analyze when you have so many things that, so many things happen to you. But he did that in the beginning of November, warming up, just horsing around with a teammate. They were just horse playing like wrestlers do. And one of our big guys fell on his leg sideways. And we had him, we kind of thought we had him ready to go He only wrestled maybe 1 or 2 times before we wrestled against Iowa in late November, and came off the mat and said, it's not good.
Yeah.
So we sat him again, tried to get him ready again, and the second time it wasn't happening.
2 big opponents this weekend. Does that at all take you back to when you were wrestling at Iowa, taking on big opponents?
No, that's what Iowa and Iowa State and Oklahoma State have always done. That's what you do, and this is a big weekend always. We always say the biggest date in the calendar is the next one, but obviously when you're at home and you get those 2 schools on a Friday and a Sunday, so and then everything they got going on Friday night with the crazy gymnastics setup and the crazy wrestling setup, it's gonna be a fun weekend.
I know you'd mentioned Anthony's injury probably kept him out till the end of the month now, as well as Jacob is wrestling. How complicated is 141 right now?
Well, we'll figure it out, but yeah, we got some things to figure out there, no question. He's back on the mat. Outside chance of Sunday, but probably not. He's really close. He's healing up good, and everything went well with his surgery. And like I said, he's going to scrap today, so and we'll figure that out. And Jacob Frost done a great job for us.
What are you hoping to see from your guys now that you've kind of had to change things up in the lineup again, and maybe some newer, fresher guys in there? What are your expectations?
Well, next man up, and the reality is, and it's not just in wrestling, it's in, we've seen it in football, we've seen it in basketball, is when your number ones go out, it's opportunity for your number twos, but the reality is it's pretty darn hard to replace your number ones. It is, and so we're going to need a little bit of luck, and we're going to need to be ready to go and pull an upset or two. But we're excited about it, so we're not making excuses. That's part of the sport, and that's part of sports. Is we scratch your head and try to figure out why all these different things, but happen. And I've done this a long time. I had 1 year at Virginia Tech that was very similar, and I don't want to go through that year. And here we are this year. So,
how would you describe Evan's season? I know he got sat once early, but it seems like he's just kept everything rolling and building.
I think he's doing a really good job right now. I think he is, and I think he's starting to accept that. Hey, I gotta watch my weight at 133 pounds. And it's just not. It's hard. This sport's hard if you let it be hard, especially. And so it's all about your mindset and realizing there's probably I saw a couple guys that we stepped up. There was one guy this weekend from Nebraska at 133, and I said, no way, Jose. This guy was a giant, but he was wrestling 133. So, right when you think you're the big guy, go stand next to a couple guys in the nation that are pretty darn big 133s and up the line as well.
Talking on number 2s and number 3s, tournaments like the Cyclone Open this weekend, you get to see a lot of those guys go. How big is that for the program, for you to kind of see the development?
Very big. They just need matches. We just need a lot of matches. You got guys like Schoen at 197 and Haggerty and Bartell. We're going to weigh all 3 of those guys in this weekend, and those guys just need matches. And even guys like Panero, who didn't wrestle all last year, we just needed, Terakina. We wrestled everybody this weekend for a reason. Jacob Frost hasn't had a lot of matches at Iowa State. And live matches are what you need. Live reps are the best thing you can do.
How has Younger helped Daniel?
Oh, he's always over there sitting in the corner or pushing Daniel. So it's been good. And Daniel, when Younger gets back out there and starts scrapping again, Younger even said to me, he goes, I'm probably going to be grabbing a different guy than I grabbed in November because they haven't been able to touch and scrap since early November. So it's been a while.
Injuries this season, is that something you also saw back when you were at Virginia Tech and coaching elsewhere?
Oh yeah, you can't get rid of them. And like I said, 1 year, the middle of my tenure at Virginia Tech, we had a year where we just couldn't stay healthy. We kind of got healthy at the end and made a little bit of a run. So I'm hoping that's what we do here. But we were banged up, and actually, our Tim, our trainer, said, if you look at our injuries this year, we had more injuries last year at this time than this year. But the difference is they were our number 2 and 3s and 4s. And this year we have less injuries, but it just happens to be a lot of our number 1s. And so we're going to have to make do and try to put the very best team we can get on the mat in March. And I still really, really like this team, and they can be competitive and compete for a Big 12 title if we get the right guys in there.
How excited are you to be back in Illinois?
Been a while. Yeah, the way the schedule worked out, it was like late November. So here we go. We get to be home, and then we get a weekend off. We're home 2 more times. So Cyclone fans come out, and the fact that we get to be on ESPN live at 4 o'clock, that's pretty darn unusual. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first time last year when we wrestled Iowa was the first time that a dual meet was on ESPN, the flagship, and I think this is the second one. So, we got to get ready to go because that train could run away from us fast if we don't get out there and make some things happen.
Speaking of just things around the sport, news came out today about a national duels tournament. What are your thoughts on, that coming to the sport? How does it help grow the sport? I mean, how exciting is it for you as a coach? Do you find that exciting?
Well, I think it's great. I like the fact that David Taylor came out, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and was talking about the national duels. And it's the greatest product we have for the average fan. Now, your diehard fans will go to Philadelphia for 3 days and sit there for 6 or 7 hours a day. But your average fan's not going to do that. And so if you can put together a 2-hour time frame, and that's why ESPN's picking it up Sunday, a 2-hour time frame that's got a lot of excitement, you're going to grow our sport a lot. And the dual meet concept is something that a lot of Division I coaches have wanted to do, and for very, very political reasons, it's kind of always got squashed. But I think again, there's a lot of excitement right there when you get a new hire, and it's a perfect time for David to step up and say, you know what, these duels are pretty darn fun. Let's make them happen. And so I can tell you right now, we're signing up. You throw some money on top of it, then it's really exciting. But we'd love to go to Tulsa, and I don't care if who the heck we wrestle. That's the mentality we've got. But we've got some people out there that are worried about who they're wrestling and when they're wrestling them. And I think for the fans want to see everybody. I mean, I can tell you, if you took a poll of wrestling fans in the United States and asked them how many would want to see all the top 24 teams in a dual meet format, the numbers would be overwhelming. I just believe that.
Are you surprised that some other notable coaches or coach then kind of poo-poo that idea, like you said, for reasons that you mentioned?
Well, there's for whatever reason, there's people out there that don't want to do it. So it's not my place to comment on that.
And from a mental standpoint, how much is Daniel's, I guess, seeing how high his ceiling is? Because I'm sure it's been mentally tough on you to not be able to compete. How much do you think it's lifted his spirits to be able to help uplift Daniel as he's taking that journey, trying to reach his full potential?
Well, I'm pretty sure that, back, say, October 1st, that he never knew he'd be in this position. He's really had that opportunity and really grabbed it. Now, he's got 4 really tough opponents here. I mean, the Pitt heavyweight, the Arizona State heavyweight are in the top 6. You got Hendrickson, and then the Oklahoma heavyweight's ranked about 20. So he's going to have 4 top 5 guys and 1 number 20 in the next 4 matches. But he's done a tremendous job, and I think more than anything, it's just stepping up to the toughness of Division I wrestling. He's getting tougher, and it's been fun to see. I mean, if we had to vote most improved guy right now, it would be Daniel Herrera by far.
Talking on the spotlights, ESPN broadcasts. Back when you wrestled at Iowa back in the '80s, are there any differences nowadays with broadcasts and big spotlights than there were back then?
Well, Iowa Public Television was. As far as college wrestling, Iowa Public Television back then was ESPN for all the wrestling fans. I mean, there was packed. I wrestled in front of. I wrestled at Hilton twice, and it was packed, and 3 times at Carver when it was packed just for Iowa State. So I wrestled in a lot of big-time venues, but obviously the coverage and the technology is much better and different now. But as far as the excitement that can happen at Hilton and the Oklahomas and Penn State and a lot of different places now, I mean, you look at some of the programs out east, this sport's growing and more people are showing up. So ESPN is going to be grabbing us a lot, I think, going forward.
Beauty and the Beast is on Friday. What are kind of some of the unique things that come with having wrestling and gymnastics side by side?
Well, focus is the key word for my guys because there's a lot flying by you, going by up in the air, left, right. So we talk about focus a lot, like you got to go do your job. I'm sure it's overstimuli for the fans out there, but we did it a couple years ago, and I've been a part of it as an opponent at places before. So I know our gymnastics program here is doing a great job. And they're climbing the rankings nationally. So they came to me back in the spring, and I said, heck yeah, let's give it a shot again. I said, you just got to turn the music down just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. So that was my only request in the whole deal.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
We should have